Thanks a lot for staying with CNN News 18. It has been, of course, a tragic afternoon in which India's first Chief of Defence Staff, General Bipin Rawat, has now passed away in a helicopter crash along with 12 others, including his wife, Madhulika Rawat. There is one passenger who is battling for life and is injured. And of course, the details from the crash are as severe as it gets. The visuals and the details that we're learning from eyewitnesses and local authorities suggest that this was indeed a terrible crash in which as many as 12 have passed away. 13 have passed away out of the 14 that were on board. But the big update that we're also tracking right now, remember, in just a bit from now, the CCS meeting will begin. So the Prime Minister is all set to chair this meeting. This will be starting at the Prime Minister's residence at several LKM. Home Minister, Defence Minister, Finance Minister and External Affairs Minister all will be in attendance. Not only is it a matter of great shock for the country, and surely a mourning possibly will be announced too, as General Bipin Rawat was the first Chief of Defence Staff, a position created only recently, and he was the first occupant of that position. Not only is it a matter of great shock for the country, this is obviously a matter where protocols will come into place. Exactly who will succeed him is also something that will be discussed very, very shortly. So now the confirmation has come, and let's focus on that once again. General Bipin Rawat has been declared dead after that fatal helicopter crash. The Mi-17 V5. CDS Rawat, his wife, along with 11 other passengers have been killed in that tragic army chopper crash in Coonoor. Remember, he was due to deliver a lecture in Wellington Defence Services College, and en route to there from Sulur Army Base is when this chopper crashed. This was a crash that was in a dense forest area of Kateri village, minutes away from the Wellington Army camp where they were headed. 14 people on board, 13 have lost their life. Group Captain Varun Singh has survived. He's currently being treated at the hospital. Before we also get you the latest as far as the CCS is concerned, let me go across to the guests also who are joining us. Major General Rajan Kochar, defence expert. Vikramjit Singh, senior defence journalist. Also Major General A.K. Sivaj. Major General A.K. Sivaj, let me come to you first up. In fact, let me go across to our expert, Vikramjit Singh, who currently continues to be with us. What do you make of the circumstances in which this crash has taken place, sir?
Well, Shreya, as I think this is a very horrific circumstance and very unusual. As I said, we have earlier had two crashes involving very senior army officers. The Eastern Army commander died in '93, Lieutenant General Daulat Singh, Bikram Singh in 1953 in a helicopter crash. But this crash, where the flight time between Sarur, where they took off, and to Wellington was very short. It's not a very long flight at all. I don't think there was any weather warning, so that is ruled out almost virtually. Now, if it's a technical or a mechanical fault...
Before I come back across to you, let me just quickly play out what the Prime Minister has also tweeted. We know that the Defence Minister has already announced this via social media after the Indian Air Force's confirmation. And now the Prime Minister has also tweeted, and let me play that across as well. General Bipin Rawat was an outstanding soldier, a true patriot. He greatly contributed to modernizing our armed forces and security apparatus. His insights and perspectives on strategic matters were exceptional. His passing away has saddened me deeply. Om Shanti. Let me also go across to Maria Shakir, who's also joining us. Maria, more and more condolences from the top hierarchy of the Indian government coming in.
Yes, Shivani, any moment the CCS, that is Cabinet Committee on Security, will be chaired by the Prime Minister, and the entire protocol of now onwards will be decided. Series of tweets having been put out by the Prime Minister. Of course, he has put out an image also with General Bipin Rawat. And he has also said, I'm deeply anguished by the helicopter crash in Tamil Nadu in which we lost General Bipin Rawat, his wife and other personnel of the armed forces. They served India with utmost diligence. My thoughts are with the bereaved family. And he has also said, a true patriot, He greatly contributed to modernizing our armed forces and security apparatus. His insights and perspectives on strategic matters were exceptional. His passing away has saddened me. He also says, as India's first CDS, General Rawat worked on diverse aspects relating to our armed forces, including defense reforms. He brought with him a rich experience of serving in the army. India will never forget his exceptional service. So the CCS is meeting for condolence message, which will be communicated. And of course, the Prime Minister has put out this tweet. Similar tweets have been put out, conveying the condolence message by the Home Minister, by Raksha Mantri, by Dr. S. Jaishankar, External Affairs Minister, and other top leaders of the government and also of the BJP. So certainly it's a nation that is in mourning, as the first CDS is no more.
Yes, Maria, of course, the President of India has also tweeted. And let me just read that out. I'm shocked and anguished over the untimely demise of General Bipin Rawat and his wife Madhulika ji. The nation has lost one of its bravest sons. His 4 decades of selfless service to the motherland was marked by exceptional gallantry and heroism. My condolences to the family. He also goes on to say, it's deeply painful for me to learn of the loss of lives in the chopper crash. I join fellow citizens in paying tributes to each of those who died while performing their duty. My heartfelt condolences to the bereaved families. The President of India is indeed, the Chief of the Armed Forces as far as the Indian setup is concerned. Guests also continue to be with us. Let me go across to Major General A.K. Sivach, who's also, I don't think he is with us, but let me go across to Major General Rajan Kochar, who's with us. Deeply, deeply terrible news that this has come in. And of course, big question marks on how something like this can happen.
Yes, absolutely. It's a great loss to the nation. An illustrious and a professional person of very high eminence, who was heading a very sensitive appointment as the Chief of Defence Staff, and he was involved with a great many landmarks. The first being the theaterization of the commands, in which handling the differences between the Army, Air Force and Navy required a lot of maturity, and he was actually instrumental in bringing this on board. And with the Chinese also on the Ladakh border, things were extremely well handled by him. And having known him in the army, I have interacted with him on a number of occasions, and I have found him to be a very, very humane and a balanced person, an excellent human being who was adored by his men. He was a true soldier who took care of his men, and wherever he has served, he has brought about improvements and professionalism in the job. He will be remembered greatly by the nation.
Update his, please. Okay, I want to quickly just read out once again what the President of India has said. I'm shocked and anguished over the untimely demise of General Bipin Rawat and his wife Madhulika ji. The nation has lost one of its bravest sons. His 4 decades of selfless service to the motherland was marked by exceptional gallantry and heroism as well. Lieutenant General B.S. Jaswal is also with us. What a tragedy, isn't it? And the way it has happened, claiming as many as 13 lives, CDS, the first Indian CDS, and that in itself is a matter of great shock. Lieutenant General B.S. Jaswal, can you hear me?
General Sivach.
Okay, I believe Major General A.K. Sivach is with us. Sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, sir, you've been with us through this afternoon. Now the news has finally been confirmed, and it's an absolute tragedy that has taken place.
Absolutely correct. It is very unfortunate incident which had taken place. General Rawat was the first CDS of Indian Defence Forces. He had a task in his hand. He wanted to modernize the defense forces. He wanted to create a theaterization of defense forces, and he was on his way. And in fact, it is a half-finished agenda. It would have taken another about a year and a half or 2 years for finishing it. You know, he was whole and soul was involved in modernization of defense forces, and that was the requirement of the day. You know, theaterization has already taken place in US, China, UK, and we need to do it. And he was made as a CDS so that he can look after this. He can make that jointness in Army, Air Force, and Navy, and there can be a synergy between all three of them. And he was, you know, compared to other three chiefs, he was first among the equal, and he was going in that direction. And though there was some resistance being offered within the services, which is very natural, when you want to change, some resistance will come. But he was handling it very maturely, and the way things were unfolding, it was looking that theaterization will become a reality in another year or so. But unfortunately, demise of General Rawat will make an impact. But certainly, he was a great warrior. He had did a lot for the Indian Defense Forces and Indian Army. And let me tell you one thing very clearly, that whatever initiative he has taken it, I am sure this is a half-finished agenda. It will be carried on. And he was also propagated Make in India concept and also Atmanirbhar concept, which was dictated by our Prime Minister and Defense Minister. You know that more than 209 elements which were put on a negative list, that we are not going to import these. We are going to manufacture it within our own country. And in case we are importing some item, it will be transfer of technology, will manufacture within India. You know, AK-203, which is there, which is now being manufactured in Amethi, is a case in point. So therefore, the point is, we will miss him. He was one who was totally involved in modernization of defense forces. And I personally miss him because he was our postmate from National Defense Academy. We were together in military secretary branch in Army headquarters almost about 20 years back. And certainly the nation will also miss him because he was totally involved in taking care of the requirement of the defense forces. I'm sure whatever is the half-finished agenda, it will be carried on by his successor.
Let me also go across to my colleague Shreya Dhondial, who's joining us. Shreya, the news has finally been confirmed, and you know, we're talking about the important position that General Bipin Rawat occupied, and that of course also brings us to the question of what happens next. You know, this is such a crucial position, and the first time that it was created and he was the first occupant. Obviously the CCS is going to begin, I think, very shortly, if it hasn't begun just already. What happens next from here on?
You know, I remember that day very clearly when General Bipin Rawat took over as the CDS of the country, 1st January 2020. And right behind me, that's where South Block is, if I can just show our viewers. And that's where he had come, and that is where he had taken charge. And on that day, he was happy, he was smiling. He said, I have a lot to do. And what he had to do, his one big mandate was to reorganize the armed forces into theatre commands, to make your military, to get more synergy between the Army, Navy and Air Force, and to make them more nimble, more effective and more flexible against the enemy. So his plans had been drawn out, and he often used to tell me, you know, when we went visiting him, and he loved to talk, and you could sit with him for hours and he had stories to tell you. And the one thing he'd always tell you is, retirement se pehle theatre commands bana ke jana hai. There have been some controversies over the theatre command, there have been roadblocks, but General Rawat was very clear that before he retires, the one mandate that the government of India has given him, that is to reorganize our forces into theatre commands, wo karke jaunga, is something that he always told me. You also asked me what next. Can you leave such a sensitive post unmanned? No, you cannot. But right now it's too early to think, because the CCS is meeting at 6:30. That meeting was supposed to start at 6:30. Are there names that they are going to be deliberating upon? Possibly, but I think everyone will wait on this. There is no immediate hurry. General M.M. Naravane, who is due to retire, the army chief, is the senior most amongst the three. Will he be picked? We don't know. We don't know which way this government thinks, because do remember that when General Bipin Rawat was picked as the army chief, he had superseded three officers senior to him. So which way will the government go? Who the next CDS is going to be? Those are questions that possibly will be deliberated upon. But right now I'm hearing from the family Barely 5 minutes ride from where I am, Shivani, is where his two daughters are. Spare a thought for these two young girls who have lost their father and their mother in one single chopper crash. So your heart really goes out to them. What they have expressed to the army chief and the Raksha Mantri who had gone to visit them earlier this evening is that they want the last rites to be held here in the national capital. What we are hearing is that tomorrow is possibly when the mortal remains will be brought to Delhi. Then there are various protocols and ceremonies around it. The Prime Minister, the President will be in attendance as well. So the last rites are not likely to be held tomorrow, possibly day after or day after. But one confirmation coming in that the last rites of the CDS will be held in the national capital.
Right.
What about the others? After all, there are 12 other people who have lost their lives in that deadly and horrifically tragic air crash. Again, no clarity coming on that. There's a good possibility that their families may want to cremate them in their hometowns. Pushkar Singh Dhami, the Chief Minister of Uttarakhand, has already made his way to General Bipin Rawat's village. By now he would be there, would have communicated the bad news. I can tell you all the relatives have been asked to come to Delhi, to fly down to Delhi for the last rites.
No, in fact,
Tomorrow
we
is when
spoke
we
to
are
General
expecting
Bipin
the mortal
Rawat's
remains here in the
brother-in-law.
national capital.
What a tragedy for him and the entire family. He's lost his brother-in-law and his sister, in the same, crash, as you were pointing out, survived by their two daughters. One of them was at their home when the army chief and the defense minister was also visiting them. What the brother-in-law of the General Bipin Rawat told us is that the other daughter is coming to Delhi, to the national capital from Mumbai. Let me also go across to Dr. Dinesh Rao, forensic expert who's also joining us, because there are question marks, one, on how this crash and why this crash happened. Do you believe something can be ascertained from the crash site, given how bad it was, how bad, the fire was, and the chopper was unrecognizable? Secondly, of course, DNA testing, we heard, was still ongoing, because we want to be sure of the announcements when it is formally done, possibly on the floor of the parliament by the defense minister tomorrow. What can be recovered from such a site, Doctor?
Yeah, see, from the first, the crash site, the most important thing is, first is whatever the accelerants we call, that means there were some burns we see, the type of fuel used, the accelerants which are present on the helicopter materials and also on the body, that need to be collected. That's very important, because if any other adulterants used for the fuel, that also can be made out by covering collecting those accelerants. Apart from that, see, identity of the bodies are very vital in this particular juncture. What means to identity each of the 11 or 13 members who lost their lives. So to identify handing over to their respective family members is definitely is not an easy task, because every identity of these individuals who have died, it goes unrecognized. Even male and female recognition also will become difficult. So it's only the DNA is the only option where we can confirm the identity.
And how long could that take, Dr. Dinesh?
No, I think because I think now we have a different methods. Even 24 hours, we can easily come out with the identity. So that should not be a thing, but that is the only method of identification in these particular cases of this nature. And another most important thing is, see, apart from the mechanical aspects, mechanical failure, where the experts pertaining to that particular copter can definitely come into a conclusion, is it a sabotage or a mechanical failure? And see, one thing, any mixing in the fuel can be easily made out, or any explosive substance can be made out based on the accelerants or the residues collected from the crash site. Yeah,
right now, the focus, of course, continues to be, as you very rightly pointed out, handing over of the mortal remains of those who have lost their lives in this tragic accident, and ensuring that that is done in the most proper manner. I do thank all of our guests for joining us. Our condolences once again, not just to the family of General Bipin Rawat, but also to all of those who've lost their life. His wife, of course, amongst those dead, but a huge part of his staff as well. And Group Captain is still fighting for his life. We'll continue to get you more on that. But as we end this edition, here's a look at what we're talking about. As far as this crash is concerned, we don't know the exact cause. And official sources say the accident could have happened due to poor visibility following heavy fog and mistiness in the air. Those were the conditions we are getting to know prevailed earlier this afternoon. But here's a look at the chopper Mi-17 V5 that crashed and led to the death of General Rawat and 12 others.
top speed of 250 kilometers per hour, an operational range of up to 1,065 kilometers, an operational ceiling of 20,000 feet, a payload capacity of up to 8.5 tons. Meet the backbone of the Indian Air Force, the Mi-17 V5 helicopter. A chopper that makes up almost half of the total helicopter inventory of the Indian Air Force. Simply because it is the most versatile chopper with us. It can be employed for a host of different missions, including troop and cargo support, fire support, patrol missions, search and rescue, and of course, VIP movement. The Mi-17 variants have operated in various types of terrain, including the Siachen Glacier, and have also proven their mettle on UN missions. Like most of the IAF's inventory, it is Russian made. And the Mi-17 V5 is the most advanced helicopter of the Mi-8 or the Mi-17 family. It comes equipped with a whole list of features, from advanced night vision technology to state-of-the-art onboard weather radar, a breakthrough autopilot system, as well as an avionics suite. It's quite simply the safest Indian chopper in the skies. Or is it? Over the past decade, there have been at least 5 tragic mishaps involving the Mi-17 helicopter. Over 30 of the IAF's bravest and fiercest warriors have lost their lives to these crashes, before of course today's tragedy. Despite this track record, aviation experts say that the Mi-17 V5 is no flying coffin. But whether the tragedy in Coonoor was a system failure, pilot error, inclement weather, or just a combination of all three, the spotlight definitely is on this IAF mainstay. With Nivedita Singh, Ritangshu Bhattacharya for CNN News 18.